Hello, welcome to Game Rating Review. Today I'll be talking about the Freddy movies. So today I'll be talking about the Nightmare on Elm Street movies in order from least favorite to favorite. At the end of this video, you can go check out what the order is, or you can sit down, watch me explain each movie in detail a little bit and how I felt about them. So, number 9. My least favorite movie is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake in 2010. Nancy, Chris, Quentin, Jesse, Dean all live together on Elm Street. At night, they're all having the same dream of the same man wearing a tattered red and green striped sweater, a beaten fedora hat concealing a disfigured face, and a gardener's glove with knives for fingers. They're all hearing the same frightening voice. One by one, he terrorizes them with curved walls of their dreams, where the rules are his, and the only way out is to wake up. Warner Brothers. Okay, this got a Metacritic score of 35. What a terrible movie this is. Now, at first I was very excited because the actor playing Freddy was the guy who played Rorschach in the Watchmen movie. And yeah, he wasn't the Freddy I grew up knowing. He wasn't funny. He was kind of scary, but I can also blame the director on not using him to be scary. The main character playing Nancy was terrible, and I don't know if I like her as an actress because she wasn't good in this, and she was just not great. The other supporting characters weren't bad, but there's just something with the pacing of this movie. They did a lot of long walks down places, and Freddy himself just didn't look right. It's like they spent most of their budget on these terrible CG effects, and they spent a lot of it on Freddy's terrible face, and the CG on that was just not great. So, not good, not great. Didn't really like it. It wasn't for me. But, yeah. So, this is definitely the worst one. Some people might watch it and like it and think it's, like, original or edgy. But, no, the ending was just terrible. The kills weren't great. Freddy wasn't great. The acting was okay. The people who played the parents did some good acting and they're semi-famous, but otherwise, I probably shouldn't see this one. If you want the genuine experience, you should probably start from the original and work your way from there, because this remake is not good. Don't take my word for it that the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street was bad. Look at Robert Englund. He even wrote on a piece of paper and signed it, saying that he thought it was terrible. So the guy who played Freddy Krueger hated it. My 8th pick and second least favorite is Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. Dream-haunting Freddy Krueger returns yet again to troll the nightmares of Springwood's last surviving teenager, and a woman whose personal connection to Krueger may mean his doom. This got a Metacritic score of 39, which, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think is very high for this movie. This movie is terrible. From the main character at the beginning, who looks like a doofus, and it immediately turns into a cartoon using cartoon effects. The director was just a producer who's produced all the other Freddy movies and got goodwill and decided, time for me to direct, and thought she knew what she was doing, but she clearly didn't. This is a terrible movie, some not great kills, maybe one or two, but ultimately it's bad. It's the cheesiest Freddy is, it's the cheesiest shooting. I mean, there's even a video game death with a video game controller. I'm very excited about that, but it just didn't happen. And it was just so terrible. I hated it so much. The lead actress in this, who played the main girl actor, was really bad. I mean, you had Johnny Depp come in for a cameo, you had Alice Cooper playing the dad. It just had so much potential, and it didn't reach that potential. It was just terrible. I liked the acting from some of the kids in this. They were good. One of them was in Clueless. I mean, I like him. He was good in this movie even. But it was just terrible on every level. I wouldn't recommend it. Number 7, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. A demonic force has chosen Freddy Krueger as its portal to the real world. Can Heather Leathercamp play the part of Nancy one last time to trap the evil trying to enter our world. This got a Metacritic score of 64, which is very high. This one is very low on my list, and before I had re-watched Wes Craven's New Nightmare, this was one of my favorite in the series. It was meta before meta was even meta. It was great. It was new. It was original. It was right before the Scream movies came out, which Wes Craven directed, but he didn't write. And I just thought it was so original and cool, and I actually liked the way Freddy looked in this movie. I didn't like that he wore combat boots. I liked the way he looked. I thought he was more menacing. Really liked it. I don't like the kid in this movie. Rewatching it, I realized the kid in this movie was terrible, and Heather Leathercamp's not a great actress. She's better in this one than she has been in the past, but she just isn't good. The kid isn't good. Wes Craven even wrote himself in this movie, and he was better than Heather Leathercamp. I mean, it's pretty crazy. You know, there are certain scenes that I like, and there's like the very meta thing about this where you're basically drawing the movie out into the real world, and you're accepting that demons exist, and it's just kind of strange. It was very, very strange. It's a very strange movie, and I like the concept, but even the ending, I felt like Lee had something that needed to be desired. And that, I don't know, they went into this crazy, fantastical world at the end, and I wish they wouldn't have gone that far. I wish they'd have made it a little bit more simple, kind of like the first one was. But I used to love this film. It used to be like one of my favorite Nightmare movies, apart from the original one. Now I'm putting it far down because the acting wasn't great, the kids' acting wasn't great, and it was just kind of boring. There was a lot of talking in this movie and not a lot of killing, which I didn't think I would be all about, but apparently I am. And when I originally watched this when I was way younger, like in high school, I loved this movie. So, yeah, there it is. Moving on to my number 6, it's Freddy vs. Jason. Get ready for the ultimate showdown. Freddy Krueger, the psychopath from Nightmare on Elm Street series, resurrects Jason Voorhees, the equally iconic madman from the Friday the 13th series. Terrified town in the middle, the two titans of terror enter into a horrifying showdown of epic proportions, alternating between the world of dreams and the harsh reality of the living world. Who will win? Who will lose in this battle to end all battles? This got a Metacritic score of 37, which surprises me. This is one of my favorites, and the reason it's so low on this list is, well, number one, it's been a while since I watched Freddy vs. Jason, and number two, it's like one of the least showings of Freddy in it. It's more of a Jason movie, and I know Freddy's like pulling the strings, but they don't show Freddy a lot in it. He's in it, but he's okay, and it's good to see Robert Englund as Freddy coming back. He's just as agile as ever. He's doing a lot in this movie. Unfortunately, this is the last time we'll see him as Freddy. You'd think he'd want to hang it up after doing it all these years, but this was great. It was really, really fun movie. It's a really action-packed movie with a lot of characters in it, but it wasn't one of my favorite Freddys, and I had fun watching the Freddys up until this point, except for Freddy's Dead, which was just a terrible movie. But this one was fun. It's a fun action movie. It's less horror, more action, and man, they really duke it out. And a lot of scenes with Freddy, it's just Freddy versus Jason, Freddy versus Jason. It's very little of him messing with people in the streams, and when he does, there's this one actor in it who is amazing. He's one of the best things in this movie. Jason Ritter's son's in this movie, and he's pretty crazy. One of my favorite Jason movies, but one of my least favorites when it comes to Freddy, because he's barely in it. Plus, I think I like the other Freddy movies just as much as this one. Let's move on. Number 5, A Nightmare on Elm Street number 4, The Dream Master. The last girl from Elm Street is still bothered by dreams about Freddy. Soon he returns and kills her, but before she dies, she wills her powers to a new friend. This somehow got a Metacritic score of 56. A lot of people like Dream Masters, and I'm not sure why. This one is Freddy at his most campy, other than at Freddy is Dead, but in the series, this is where he becomes his most campy. This is where he is a little bit more silly. And in the beginning of this movie, they kill off the Dream Warriors right in the beginning. All of them. They recast the girl who played Kirsten in the last movie. They replaced her with a girl named Tuesday Night, who was like a singer. Used to be Arquette, who played it, who I don't like anyway, so they recast her, they kill all the characters off, which is weird. Then they focus on this one girl who's okay. Didn't really like her. The movie's really confusing, and I didn't like it that much. Freddy's definitely hamming it up in this one. The one thing I will give this one, it has my favorite Freddy death of all the other Freddy movies on the Nightmare series. I love this death. The soul's coming out of him, tearing him apart. He's really, really awesome. But I don't like the way that happened, like him looking at himself in a mirror is kind of dumb. I liked it okay. I liked it better than other movies, apparently. I just don't think this one was for me. It was my least favorite of the first 5. And yeah, it was okay. It doesn't live up to other things, and the ending was really cheesy, and there was no twist in this ending either. Which I like my Freddy twists. In the last few of these I don't like just because there was no twist at the end that was satisfying. So, bad Freddy, bad kills, very confusing, so let's move on to the next one. Number 4, Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 3, Dream Warriors. Survivors of an undead serial killer, Freddy Krueger, who stalks victims in their dreams, learn to take control of their own dreams in order to fight back. This got a Metacritic score of 49. Now, a lot of people love Dream Warriors. I mean, it's their favorite in the series. There are things I love about this, and there's things I really hate about this movie. First of all, they bring Laurie back, and Lawrence Fishburne's in here, apparently, not hanging out with Keanu Reeves or on Blackish. And it's one of the more imaginative ones. I mean, you have the Dream Warriors turning into things, punk girl who is terrible, the nerd who can walk and play D&D against them, the tough guy. Patricia Arquette in this movie is not good in this movie. This is one of her first acting roles, if not the first acting role, and she is terrible in this movie. She acts so bad. I'm supposed to believe that she's this tough girl in her dreams. I like the opening with her, but otherwise all she does is like flip around and stuff, and that's supposed to make her like tough or something. I don't get it, and I don't know. I like that they use control of their powers, but there was something I noticed in this movie where like, hey, I have a power, and then Freddy would outdo them and kill them. I'm like, really? That's it? That's all you're gonna do? So that kept happening. There's a huge cast of characters. The ending, Freddy turns into the skeleton and fights back, which is like crazy. They use holy water to kill him and stabbing him with his own claws or whatever, which is interesting or whatever. I think people like this more because of the imagination involved in it, that you become a Dream Warrior and you could fight Freddy back. You know, the other films you were just in dread of Freddy, and this one you're fighting back, and it actually makes this more of an action movie than a horror movie if you think about it. And that was some people's complaints with Freddy vs. Jason. Like, this was just as much of an action movie, them turning into these things and fighting up against Freddy, and Freddy's skeleton turning alive and fighting against you. It is an action movie, and I didn't like it that much. It's like, it's good, it's like one of the better ones, but I don't like it as much as everyone else, and I like one better than this one. Number 3, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Pregnant Alice finds Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund, striking through the sleep mind of her unborn child, hoping to be reborn in the real world. This one got a Metacritic score of 54. I know, Dream Child. This one I loved for some reason. I love little baby Freddy. I love the fact that she was protecting her kid. I love the kills in this one. I love the plot of this one for some reason, protecting your child. I love the visuals, even though I didn't like that one character who was in the comic books, and I didn't like that he turned into the comic book characters. I like the art design and the black and white of what they were doing, and I also didn't like Super Freddy. That was really terrible. But otherwise, I liked everything else about it. I love the pacing of this movie. I like the ghost kid that was her kid from the dream trying to talk to her. I felt for the character. I love the bike scene in this. I thought that was fun. I just thought it was a more fun movie than 4, and actually made more sense than 4, and was just a more fun movie. And I liked it more than 3 because it looked more visually appealing, and I liked the characters more in this one. And even though I didn't like the redhead girl in 4, in 5 I liked her a lot more. I thought she was a more fun, better caring character, and she was doing more interesting things with Freddy. And so this one, I didn't find it campy, and I found it more fun. It was great. So yeah, I really like number 5. I wasn't expecting to. I'd watched these before, but watching them again, my opinion has completely changed. That I didn't like Dream Warriors or number 4 as much, but number 5, Dream Baby, I really liked, and you should watch it again with open eyes, with a better view. I really liked it. Number 2, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. A teenager is haunted by his dreams by a deceased murderer, Freddy Krueger, who is out to possess him in order to continue his reign of terror in the real world. This got a Metacritic score of 43. This is a great movie. This is a great movie on so many different standards, and I think I'm grading these movies by how fun they were to me and how interesting they were. This one breaks a lot of the Freddy rules, so I don't know why it's my favorite, because it's the most ridiculous. Let's just talk about the dance. There's a dance number in here. It's great. It's stupid. He closes the door with his butt. He wears these stupid, ridiculous glasses. He's like putting something next to him, and they play this scene in gay clubs to this day, and it is known as the gayest scary movie ever made, gayest Freddy movie. The guy who played the main character ended up being gay in real life. He regrets this movie, apparently. I think it's funny. I think it's really great. The guy who wrote it intentionally wrote it to be like someone coming out as being gay or something, or struggling with their sexuality. This is a funny movie. You should not take the second one seriously. If you are, there's something wrong with you. It does have one of my favorite scenes with Freddy behind the fire saying, "You're all my children now." That's a great scene. Freddy literally tearing himself out of him. And the bus scene's interesting. I don't know. I just had fun watching this movie so much, and I wasn't expecting that. And watching the documentary afterwards, finding out that, yeah, he wrote it, be gay, and then the guy who wrote it was even shocked because they directed it, and whoever directed it made it even more gay than it was supposed to be. And everyone seemed oblivious about how gay it was. And it is great, it is funny, and it is one of my favorites by far. I am shocked. I didn't think I'd like it. Please watch the second Freddy movie, but watch it like it's camp, like it's fun. Absolutely one of my favorites. Second favorite, but not till my number 1. Number 1 favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Metacritic score of 76. Nancy Thompson is suffering from violent nightmares about a badly burned man wearing gloves as knives. She quickly learns this man, child killer Freddy Krueger, is also terrorizing the dreams of his friends and boyfriend Glenn. As they begin to die one by one in their sleep, Nancy learns that this years prior, the parents of Elm Street burned Freddy Krueger alive, and now Freddy is back to claim their children's lives as revenge. As the teenagers of Elm Street fight to stay awake, Nancy must save their lives and her own by bringing Freddy out of their dreams and back into the real world to destroy them forever. The original Nightmare on Elm Street is great. It's iconic, it's a little scary, it's confusing. You actually don't get a lot of screen time with Freddy. He's in the shadows, you can barely see him. But one of my only complaints is Nancy's acting is terrible, or the girl who plays Nancy is terrible in this. But otherwise, it's really solid, really great. The first girl in it, her death scene's great. With her in the bag, it's fantastic. Johnny Depp was supposed to play a tough guy, but I liked where he played here, just a concerned football player. And he died crazy. The deaths in this are iconic and stuff we've never really seen before. You have, but not put together in one movie. The kill on the ceiling and the blood coming out of the bed when Johnny Depp characters died. This is a great movie, solid movie. I also don't really like how Nancy's just this tough girl at the end of it, and she like learns all this stuff, but that's fine. It's still a great movie. It has a great message, and some people argue, is this movie a dream the whole time? Is it not? Who knows? Still my favorite movie out of all of the Nightmare series. You should start on number 1. Go to number 2. I highly suggest going in order. Watching them in order and go on that ride. Make your own opinions. Absolutely. Watching them in order is the way to go. and make the decision if you want to watch the remake. You probably shouldn't. It's terrible on so many levels. The first one is great and iconic in so many different ways. So that's it. That's my list. I'm going to list them at the end. I'll give you time to look at that list and tell me what you think in the comments down below. If you agree with my list, if you don't agree with my list, what's your list? What do you think? Thank you for watching Game Rating Review. And that was my opinion on what order I love or hate the Nightmare on Elm Street series with Freddy. He's great. I love this series.